Hey guys, welcome back to GCC. I'm Damon, and today I wanted to do a book review. Red Sister. Gray Sister? Which book am I talking about today? This one. This is what I'm talking about today. Gray Sister by Mark Lawrence. I was get thrown off because Red Sister was in like a gray cover, and Gray Sister is in like a red cover. It's confusing. Mark Lawrence, why? Why do you do this? Anyways, today I want to talk about Gray Sister, the second book of the Ancestor by Mark Lawrence, because damn, that's a fucking good book. Oh, okay. Woo! Bring it down. Bring it down. Whew. Okay. Gray Sister. That was a good book. Too far down. Okay. Reset. So right from the beginning, sequels face a pretty stacked deck. They have to take what we liked from the first book, or movie, or game, or whatever the medium is. They have to take what we liked, crank it up to 11, and make it believable and better. It just has to be a good/better book in almost every way. Otherwise, people won't like it because they're like, "But the first one was better." Now, if that's done properly, everything just feels badass. You're like, man, this is just a substantially better book than the first one. And that happens a lot of the time with good authors. Spoiler alert, this guy's one of them. So anyways, today I'm taking a look at a sequel, Gray Sister, the second book of the Ancestor. I already said that. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I need more coffee. I'm out of coffee. Almost out of coffee. So you may be wondering whether Gray Sister holds up to Red Sister. I'm going to mix those names up. And frankly, yes, it does. It basically takes everything that I enjoyed from the first one and just does it again and cranks up to like 10.5. It's not so much like crazier and like over the top that I'm like, wow, that was wild. You know, it just does everything really, really well. And I thoroughly enjoyed Gray Sister. So as always, I'm going to try and keep the spoilers to a minimum here. I don't want to spoil anything for readers who haven't read the book. I just kind of want to give insight towards the series as far as what I know. Because I know a lot of readers are hesitant to pick up a series or even a first book in a series if they don't know how the rest pans out. Lately, it's become a trend for authors to stop making books halfway through a series, right? Like George R. R. Martin with the dragon books. God damn it. That's not what it is. I keep wanting to call it Game of Thrones because after like the fourth book, I started watching the TV show instead. It's not called Game of Thrones. That's what it is. A Song of Ice and Fire. George R. R. Martin. Anyways, that's completely irrelevant. What was I even talking about? God damn it. Authors who don't finish series. George R. R. Martin is notorious now for waiting 15 billion years, it feels like, to release a new book. Same with Patrick Rothfuss and the Kingkiller Chronicles. And it's kind of burned a lot of readers, and I totally get it. They don't want to invest all this time in a series that may never be finished. I don't think people have to worry too much with Mark Lawrence because it seems like he's releasing these books on a pretty awesome schedule, to be honest. The third one comes out in like 3 months, 2 months, something like that. And I feel like this one just came out recently too, which is amazing. I probably should have looked that up when books are coming out and have come out. Okay. So Gray Sister kind of falls in the same category as the Sanderson books in that, and only in that, it has like the big avalanche in the last like 20% of the book where you read up to like 80% and you're like, man, this is a really good book. I can't wait to see what happens. And you crest that 81% and then all hell breaks loose. And then you can't put the book down because you got to find out what's happening. Like there's no way you can stop. So you stay up till 4 a.m., you finish the book, you sit there surrounded by 14 cups of coffee and you're like, the fuck was that? And it was awesome. And that's what I love about Sanderson, and Mark Lawrence did that in Gray Sister. I literally stayed up till like 4 a.m., drank like 2 pots of coffee, finished the book, and was just like, So Grey Sister takes place about 2 years after the events of Red Sister, the first book. Nona and all of her friends and non-friends are back at the convent, learning all types of murdery things, and she's been spending this time like brooding and preparing and planning her revenge regarding the events that happened at the end of the first book. Mark Lawrence does a really great job of creating a gap between the first and second book without making you feel like you missed anything. And I feel like some authors can't do that without writing a 4,000-page introduction that basically is just the first book all over again, and you wonder why you even reread the first book before the second one. It doesn't. Anyways, one way that Mark Lawrence seems to have taken notes from George R. Martin is he has written a very, very hateable character in a good way. That's definitely a compliment. Like, you're introduced to this lady, girl, woman, teenager, I don't know, named Jolie Namsis, who is just in every way, shape, and form a shitty person. Like, she's the ultimate like rich, spoiled girl who has the posse of friends that are like her lynch mob that do whatever she wants. And it is so infuriating to read, but he does it in such a great way. Like, I hate her so much, and that's a good thing because you're supposed to. I just want to highlight this fact because I feel like it's rare for an author to write a really truly hateable bad guy. A lot of times it's just this like generic bad guy who's evil for the sake of being evil, and like you don't know his motivations. He just wants to see the world burn. So there's that. Or the bad guy is just so contrived that like your eyes hurt from rolling so much. Like you're like, oh god, I can't believe he just said that. It's like the most typical shitty villain line in the world, right? But Mark Lawrence just knocked it out of the park with the bad guys in this book. One of my favorite aspects of this series, not just Grey Sister, but both of the books so far, is the combat. I feel like a lot of fantasy, the combat is like this very grand scale thing that takes up like multiple chapters, or, you know, like the final battle is just this massive thing that like there's so much detail and description that I honestly end up skipping like portions of it because I don't care about how he turned his wrist to change the angle of the blade to deflect this attack. I just want to know what's going on. And Mark Lawrence does a really good job of being concise yet descriptive, and his combat is exciting and it's awesome. He doesn't waste time and you know, use an entire chapter to tell you, hey, this person punched another person in the face. He just says, this person punched another person in the face. And you're like, hell yeah, it's awesome. One thing that my wife and I really liked about this series is the portrayal of women, and I feel like a lot of male authors struggle with that, honestly. Some, like, you know, other fantasy authors have written about braid tugging and tucking their arms under their breasts for like no reason 14,000 times in a single book, and that's just infuriating because it's like they do it on purpose, you know. Or they write these female characters who are just like these meek little helpless creatures that have to be saved, or seem powerful and then at the end of the day still have to be saved by like the heroic main guy or something. I don't know, just silly. And I feel like he did a really good job of writing female characters that were believable and varied. You know, like there's different types of women in this book that, you know, take the form of, you know, the strong independent, the hopeless lover, the whatever, like the motherly character. There's so many different types of women in this book, and he does a really good job of differentiating them and making them their own people. So without getting into too much detail, I really enjoy that Sister Kettle has a larger role in this book. She was awesome in the first book. I loved her character, and seeing her be more involved with the story in this one was just perfect. And then lastly, again, avoiding any specifics or details, I just wanted to say that Abbess Glass is like the best. She's like one of those characters that I just love to death, and like everything she does, I'm just like, keep it up, you're awesome. She always has a plan, she always has something in mind, she's smart as hell, and she's just awesome. Seeing her like outwit people in this book is so satisfying. So I guess that's about it. I know I give a lot of books 5 out of 5, but this one honestly deserves it. My rating scale is probably different than professional book reviewers, but I feel like if I leave the book and I can't wait for the next one, and I'm like excited and I tell people about it and I look it up online to see like other people's opinions and rumors and stuff, that means that the book was a 5 out of 5 for me, because I really enjoyed it and I just want more. I'll be super excited when the third one comes out. I'll definitely read it and put up another review, but this one is so worth checking out that, like, I don't know what to say. Go buy it right now. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.